Hello there. Welcome to Hope at Home. I can see that Maxi has been very busy getting our props together here, getting them together for storage, because we've had a story today that had a lot of these rocks and things in it, and we're going to be showing that to you later. It's based on a passage in Matthew about treasures, about where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. And Maxi is one of our treasures because he does a lot of good work for us, doesn't he? But this one is a different story. It's about a gnome, and it's about some wood sprites and some interesting forest creatures. And we're going to see how that gnome handles his treasures. Maybe afterward we can talk about how we handle ours. So let's see that story now.
Deep in the Reverie Woods, there was a peaceful place where a diversity of creatures lived in harmony, away from the hectic life of the outside world. It didn't have a name. The residents just called it the peaceful place. Dodos had never gone extinct there, and they were often seen by the rocky banks of the stream browsing for seeds and shellfish. Everything and everyone lived peacefully in the peaceful place. Even the onions and the carrots could be seen dancing together on crisp fall evenings. The smallest members of the peaceful community were the Wood Sprites. Two of them, Mick and Piccola, had taken up residence in an old hollow tree after some local elves had decided to downsize their cookie business. The sprites, having opposable thumbs, always made themselves available to be good helpers to the various animals that lived in the woods. They lived and loved to help others. Even a peaceful place is not perfect, however. In a deep hole that was at the mouth of a vast underground cave, there lived a gnome. Most gnomes are very pleasant, but this one was not a very pleasant fellow at all. Every day, he would wriggle his way out of the cave entrance and be on his way toward the nearby village where humans lived. Piccola often attempted to give him a wave or a nod, but the gnome would snarl, quickly pick up his pace, and stomp away. Late in the afternoon, every day, the gnome would return from the village to the peaceful place, always carrying a white box bound in twine. Though he never spoke to the others, he could often be heard making satisfied grunts to himself and patting the boxes before he carried them down into his underground caverns. The sprites and all the other creatures were forever curious about the content of those boxes. Mick asked the dodo one day what might be in them. The bird had heard the gnome mumbling about having a collection of something. "He's a collector," Mick explained to Piccola. Together, they wondered what it might be that they collected, but they didn't waste much time wondering and ran away in search of some good deed they might do. One day, the gnome returned to the woods carrying an especially heavy load of boxes, and Piccola offered to help him carry them. But the gnome would not allow anyone or anything near his precious boxes. "It's my collection, mine," he said. Piccola returned to the hollow tree. "Well, he finally spoke to me," she told Mick. They laughed and did a happy dance, since that's what the wood sprites do. Then, one cloudy afternoon, the sprites looked out of their hollow tree and saw the gnome actually speaking to a local frog. The conversation didn't last long. The gnome was in a hurry to get his box of the day back into his cave. Mick quickly joined the frog. "Did he tell you what he collects?" "He'll never tell me that," said the frog. "I was warning him that there was a big storm up in the mountains and a flood might be headed this way." "What did he say?" asked the sprite. "What he always says. Stay away from that. It's mine. But I just wanted to tell him that I could sense a flood coming. He said, 'Why should I believe a frog? Because frogs know such things.'" "Thank you for the warning," said Mick, and headed back to the safety of the hollow tree. It should come as no surprise that the frog was right. About 3 hours later, The sprites were watching the water rise from their hollow tree. The cave had been flooded. They could see the gnome's collection in the boxes he had never opened, floating down the stream. Then the gnome himself popped out of the flooded underground cave. "My collection! My collection!" he screamed. The gnome was frantic. He ran along the shoreline, hopping from rock to rock, and disappeared into the distance, trying to reach the floating boxes. The sprites waved to the frantic gnome. They thought this was the polite thing to do. I guess he's too busy to wave back, they thought. No one in the peaceful place ever saw the gnome again, or found out what it was he had collected. It was all gone now, so it really didn't matter to them what it was. But we do know whatever the collection was, the fish seemed to like it. Do not store up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moth and rust consume, and where the thieves break in and steal. But store up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust consumes, and where thieves do not break in and steal. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. Well, thanks for dropping by. It's so good of you. And I know Maxi works so hard. I know he was helping Dan earlier. So it's good that you take charge and come over just like Maxi. And how's everything going today? You feeling good? Well, it's a good time here at the Hope at Home Studios because I know you've been working hard too. I know you're helping Maxi out. Did you bring the drawing today? Oh, good. Well, let's... Such a lady. Look at this, the Gnome King. Very fun. As always, the Gnome King is from one of our Wizard of Oz stories. Did you know that? One of the stories that we did with hand puppets. I know you don't even know what a hand puppet is, but this is the Gnome King, and he's such a fun character. And in the story, he's not too happy a fellow, is he? I had so much fun doing the narration for that. It's nice to have an opportunity to do the storytelling sometimes too. It's fun because Stephanie was out of town, and so we decided, hey, well, it'd be fun to tell a story about what we were doing. So anyway, all about collecting and the collector, you know, and all that. Do you collect anything? Oh, it's good. You're not too much of a pack rat, are you? Oh, sorry. Well, this has been a fun time this week, and are you going to hopefully come back and visit more often? I know we see a lot of Maxi, and I love him. I really do. Your brother has been so fun. And what has happened to Mo lately? Don't know. So I understand that Mo's been around too, and we need to see more of Mo, don't we? Lots more of Mo. So, okay, well, do you want to wave goodbye with me this week to all our friends out there? Okay, well, everyone, we've had a lot of fun this October doing Hope at Home with the Halloween things and this special story of the month, The Collector. And so this has been a really special time for us. So go in peace, and I'm sure Dan will have that to say later, you think? Okay, and we'll wave goodbye for now. All right, Misty, there you go. Thanks a lot, everyone. See you soon.
As you can see, Maxi is still busy getting things together, getting the props together for storage now, since we've already used them. Maxi, did you have a good time today? Yeah, I thought you might have. You were a little hesitant there. Did you have any trouble getting the fish back into the pond? Oh, that's good to know. That's very good. Well, we saw an interesting story about treasures, didn't we? You know, I have a lot of friends that are collectors, and they collect a lot of cool things, and they like to share those collections with people. They like to show them and tell them little stories about them and so on, but it seemed the gnome didn't like to share anything, did he? That wasn't a very good life to live, was it? But anyway, we've learned a lot about that kind of life, and it's not a very good one. So today we're going to say, go in peace, and I think Maxi would like to say it with us. Would you, Maxi? Or maybe you'd like to just wave. Would you like to do that? Okay. Well, let's just say it together then. Go in peace.